Hey guys, it's your boy Tacho here, back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and today what we're going to be talking about is the top 10 most useful 5-star units that you can summon. Now, what I mean by most useful is the top 10 5-star units that you don't need any merges on, or you don't need good IVs on either. Pretty much, these units that we're about to discuss are going to be amazing units to just have in your barracks, regardless of IVs or merges. You just need one copy of them pretty much, and they are going to be putting in so much work for you. And they're definitely going to make your team compositions so much better just from being there. So let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, first up, we've got Legendary Asura. I'm pretty sure most people expected her to be on here. She's really ridiculous as a dancing unit. Most people would agree that she actually is the best dancer in the game, and the reason why that is because she's got the combo of Prayer Wheel and Grey Waves. So Prayer Wheel, right now, it's the only skill in the game capable of granting +7 to all stats on a unit. All you gotta do is have access to either Hone Attack or Hone Speed 4, or Fortify Res 4, and what Prayer Wheel does is it's gonna grant the exact same bonus to your units on all stats, equal to the highest current bonus that they have. So with the level 4 Hone and Fortify skills, you can get +7 to a stat, and Prayer Wheel is going to give you that +7 to every stat as well. So it's really nice to have one of those level 4 Hone or Fortify skills on her, but it's not even necessary. She does come with Attack Tactic, which is already quite good, and +6 to all stats is only marginally worse. Also, Grey Waves is going to refresh the turn for one of your allies, and it's also going to grant them +1 movement if they are an infantry or flying type. So that's just bananas, and a lot of people run her on their Aether Raids defense teams because of this. So it's really easy to set up rally traps and have your units overlap their ranges, and you can have multiple units attacking the same spaces like this. So Legendary Asura is amazing. She's also a water-type legendary hero, so if it happens to be water season, you can just slap her on your arena team and then pass out water blessings to all your guys, and that's going to raise your score cap very high. Blessings are, of course, the easiest way to score good in arena, and that means this Asura is going to be very helpful for you in all the modes pretty much. Aether Raids, arena modes, even the chain challenges and the story maps, like all of that stuff, this Asura is just awesome to have. So she's a great unit to summon and just have one copy of. And next up, we've got Legendary Eliwood. So Eliwood's weapon, Ardent Durandal, is going to grant bonus doubler to the unit on your team with the highest attack at the start of the turn. Now, normally, only infantry type units are allowed to have bonus doubler. Flying types and armor types and cavalry types are not allowed to inherit bonus doubler, the A-slot passive. But what this Eliwood does is actually provide a status effect that gives you bonus doubler. So it's accessible to all units regardless of movement type. And obviously that's just outrageous. Armor type units have such a crazy base stat total. And the armored units are starting to stack their stats so high now with all these weapons that just give you +4 or +5 to all your stats, and then you couple that in with a unit with 185 BST, like say Winter Sothis, and you give them bonus doubler, and it's pretty much just GG at that point. So this Eliwood is an amazing supporter to have. Also, the icing on the cake is that the bonus doubler status effect that he grants can also be stacked with the A-slot passive. So if you've got an infantry unit on the team with bonus doubler, and you're getting the status effect from this Eliwood, you pretty much have bonus tripler at that point, so the stats are going to stack higher than ever, and your unit is basically just going to be transformed into a Super Saiyan at that point, so none of the opponents are going to be able to touch you. And in the C slot, this Eliwood also has Vision of Arcadia, so if you have a Beast or a Dragon type unit on your team, this skill is going to grant attack and defense up 6 to the unit on your team with the highest attack. So he's not only providing bonus doubler, but he's also potentially providing attack and defense up 6 if you've got a Beast or a Dragon on the team, which is not really the hardest thing to do. I mean, there's so many good Dragon and Beast type units. So it's a really great C-slot passive, and I love using it because it has no range limit on it. So regardless of where the unit is, or regardless of where Eliwood is, they're just going to get that attack and defense up 6 at the start of the turn. So it's a really powerful buff skill. And this guy is also a wind-type legendary hero, so if it's wind season, you can put him on your arena team, pass out a couple of wind blessings, and your score is going to go up. So all around, this Eliwood is just amazing. And next up, we've got Viloria. So, a little Red Riding Hood over here. Her weapon is really nice, and what it does is Viloria and her support partner, if she has one, are going to have -2 special cooldown at the start of the turn. So you can use this to quick charge a bunch of specials, like for example Gale Force, which is really nice in Aether Raids. And by quick charging Gale Force like that, you can have your units take multiple actions in a turn, and pretty much just go for a 1-turn kill on the opponent. So really good stuff. And there's also no movement restriction on her passive, so she's able to grant that -2 special cooldown to whoever is her support partner. Some good options are Ares, of course, because Ares wants to start with his special attack, so he can start getting the special spiral effect off from his weapon. That is the one downside to special spiral, is that you have to activate the special at least once in combat for it to work. Also, you can pair her up with Tibarn or Naysala. And they're really amazing Gale Force units with the 3-range mobility and the flying type movement. And Viloria is of course a beast type, so she can help them transform if they need it. And Viloria is also an infantry type unit, so if you want to go for even more special charging, you can run some infantry pulse units on the team, and she's really going to be able to quick charge a special like Gale Force in no time at all. And Viloria is just a really great unit. Even having just one copy of her is going to make your offensive setup so much better. So Viloria is just a great unit to have. And next up, we've got Brave Lucena. So Brave Lucena was part of Choose Your Legends 1. And all of those units pretty much got insane refines, and Lucena is no exception. What her refine does is it's going to grant +3 to all stats to all of your physical type units within 2 spaces of her. So that means all your swords, your lances, your axes, bows and daggers, and beast type units, all of them are going to gain +3 to all stats as a drive type buff. So you don't have to worry about them getting flipped on you with panic effects. Also, she provides the breath effect. So if you're using her to support a bait type unit, like say Midori, who's got the Spendthrift bow, or Brave Ike, like everyone likes to support her with, her weapon is just straight up one of the best drive-type buffing weapons in the game, and she's just going to turn all your physical bait units into complete monsters on the enemy phase. You can also run some drive or guard-type skills in her C slot or Sacred Seal slot, and you're going to be able to stack your stats even higher. Plus, you can go for the S-rank summoner support on her and whoever you plan to have her be supporting. So this Lucena is arguably the best drive buff unit in the game, competing with others like Kaden and Korin M, but that breath effect is everything, and being able to quick charge your special attacks on bait units, along with all of those stat bonuses, is just way over the top, and that definitely makes this Lucena a really great unit to have. Okay, so next up we've got Annette. Now, you all know the sad story that happened to me and Annette. I managed to free pull her on a banner, but sadly, I wasn't able to use her for too long, and I had to sacrifice her to one of my other units, just so I could stay in tier 21 with one of those rally plus skills. I'm never going to live that down, but that's just me. If any of you guys have Annette, I would highly suggest not doing what I did and hold on to her for dear life, because Annette is one of the craziest support units in the game. Her weapon, the Crusher, is going to grant +1 movement to any of her target allies that she uses a rally buff on, and that includes the cavalry units as long as they're not ranged ones. This is just downright insane. The amount of movement shenanigans you can pull off with that is crazy. Having horse units being able to move 4 spaces in a turn, like, come on, man. that's nuts. And it's not like she's just using the rally skill either, because you can go ahead and equip her with any of the ruse skills and the feint skills, and she's going to be debuffing the foes and inflicting guard on them at the same time. So, arguably, Annette is the best rally unit in the entire game. And the craziest thing is, she's a support unit that can actually fight, because all of her stats are way above average. She's got a monstrous attack stat, and her weapon also deals adaptive damage, so she can hit the foe's defense or res depending on which one is lower. But regardless of all that, you don't even need her to fight. My Annette was minus attack, so I already know firsthand that it doesn't matter what her IVs are, she's just going to be putting in some crazy work. Even if you just have her as a cheerleader and just keep using the rally skills on her, it doesn't really matter. She's just going to be so useful, and she can help the team out so much. So Annette is definitely going to be a unit to look out for, and hopefully add to your barracks. And next up, we've got the first duo hero on the list. So I love these duo heroes, and this one in particular is actually my favorite. New Year Alphonse and Serena. I feel like this is the first time that these two have gotten the respect they deserve. So this is a really cool unit, and one of my favorites in the game. Sadly, I don't have them, but they are very powerful. Their duo skill is going to grant -2 special count at the start of the turn for them, as well as any of your infantry type allies that are within range. So as we've said earlier, with a unit like Viloria, being able to quick charge your specials like that is going to be really good in Aether raids, and being able to ramp into Gale Force that much faster is going to help out your offense team so much. Sadly though, they are limited to only buffing infantry types with this skill, as opposed to Viloria, who doesn't care what the movement type is. But the nice thing about them is that if you use the Duo's Indulgence Tower, you can go ahead and pop that skill multiple times in a fight, and it's just going to be really good being able to quick charge your specials over and over again. They also have that nice Duo BST, so their score is treated as being in the 185 BST bin, and that's going to help you out in modes like Arena, where you just need to score a little bit higher. So this is a great unit, and I was kind of low-key hoping that they were going to win the Hero Rises event, but Altena won that, and I'm okay with Altena. She's really good too. But anyways, moving on. Our next unit is going to be Spring Idun, so the second duo unit on this list. Now, this unit's duo skill is like the biggest middle finger to Thrasir that I've ever seen. When Aether Raids came out, everyone was just using the dragon units like Fa and Naui, also Adult Tiki, because they're really easy to summon. All of them are 3 and 4 star summonable units, so it was easy to get +10 merges on them and build them up. But then Thrasir came out of nowhere, and she had effective against dragons, and she had the instant desperation effect, and she was just bodying all the dragon units. So after Thrasir came out, dragons pretty much went extinct. But then we got this unit, and her duo skill is going to negate armor and dragon type effective damage that the foes may have, while also giving defense and res up 6 to all your allies that are within range. That's just so nuts, man, and it's going to be the resurgence of dragon types if you happen to pull a copy of this Spring Idun. So feel free to dust off your copy of Naui and Fa if you've got them at +10, and you actually had to retire them from facing Thrasir. That's not going to be the case anymore, because with this duo skill, they're going to be once again able to take care of business for you. Her duo skill is also great in arena modes too, because Arena is just packed to the brim with units that have effective against armor and effective against dragons. So being able to negate all of that is so crazy, especially on a tanky unit like her, and it's just going to make your bait units that much more powerful on the enemy phase. So this is a great unit, and if you enjoy using dragon type units, then there's really no better support that you can have other than negating effective damage. Okay, so moving on to the next unit now. We've got Layla over here. Shoutouts, of course, to Morphefi. So Layla's weapon is the Constant Dagger, and what it does is it's going to have the Fire Sweep effect if she initiates combat, and she has a support partner within 2 spaces of her. So that's already really good. Fire Sweep is going to allow her to attack foes without getting hit by a counter attack. And the catch is that after she attacks, she's actually going to swap spaces with that ally. So being able to get an attack off on the foes with Fire Sweep, and she has Dagger 7 as well, so she's going to be debuffing the enemy team, and then being able to swap into a support partner and have them go to town, it's just really good. Layla is an awesome unit, especially in Aether Raids. Because she's a dagger unit, the icing on the cake is that you can go ahead and give her Disarm Trap as the beast skill. and that's going to let her walk over the trap tiles without triggering them. So it's a really easy way to cheese it in Aether Raids by having Layla and giving her Disarm Trap. And everyone does have access to one free copy of Disarm Trap. It is available in the Divine Code shop if you purchase the Spring Pala. So I would highly recommend holding on to that Pala and using her to give Disarm Trap to a Layla that you may summon in the future, because she's pretty much the best user of Disarm Trap in the game, and having it on her is going to make Aether Raid's offense so much easier for you. Also, her attack and speed base stats are insane, so she's going to be dealing a ton of damage when she initiates combat on the foes, and she's just really good. Like, regardless of Ivies or regardless of merges, Layla is definitely going to be a unit that you're going to want to try to pick up at some point, so really good stuff. And our next unit is going to be Naga. So Naga gets a lot of crap because she's really not the best unit herself. Her stats are very mediocre except for speed. But what's really good about Naga is her C-slot passive. So Divine Fang, it grants effective against dragons to all of her adjacent allies at the start of the turn. And in my opinion, that is the best C-slot passive in the entire game. Being able to give effective damage against one of the most common types in the game to anybody is going to make them that much more powerful on the player phase. And effective damage is just so crazy. You're going to be able to one-shot most of your enemies if you have effective damage on them. So it really doesn't matter how mediocre Naga is herself. Just being able to support the team like that is way too useful. And she's also an Astra type hero. So if you're running her in Astra Season on your Aether Raids offense team, she can help raise your score by passing out blessings. And her blessing is a pretty good one too. It gives +5 defense. It's not quite as good as plus res, but plus defense is still very nice, and all of your bait units are going to appreciate that. And she's also a flying type unit, so obstacles are not going to bother her. And you can go ahead and give her stuff like guidance and flyer formation, so she can just jump around the battlefield and help your units move that much better. So I don't care what anyone says about Naga, she's a really good unit and one of the best to have in your barracks, even with no merges and even with terrible IVs, none of that matters. Effective against dragons on the spot is just way too good. And our final unit of the day is Bride Fiorm. So Bride Fiorm, her weapon is going to inflict the isolation effect on foes in cardinal directions of her, as long as she's got 3 or more HP than them. And isolation is a really good status effect, especially in Aether Raids. It's pretty much going to prevent the foes from using an assist skill or having an assist skill used on them. So by inflicting isolation on dancing type units, like Legendary Asura for example, you can really shut down an Aether Raids defense setup, and they're not going to be able to pull off any rally traps or extend the ranges of their units and overlap. So Bride Fiorm is another Cheez-It unit that you can have in Aether Raids. She's also a staff unit, and you can pass Restore Plus on her. So in the event that you've got units on the team that are ranged and they're getting hit by the tactics room, you can go ahead and use Restore on them, and they're going to have their full movement at the start of the turn. So Fiorm has some really nice utility in that regard. And she's also another flying type unit, so obstacles are no problem for her. And you can go ahead and give her stuff like guidance and flyer formation, and she's just going to be jumping all over the place. So that's really good, especially on a staff unit with the Razzle Dazzle combo. She's going to be able to attack the foes and bypass any vantage effects they may have. So you can just go ahead and whittle them down with Fiorm and then go for the KOs with some of your other units. So Bride Fiorm is really awesome, and even having one copy of her is going to help you out so much. And that just about covers us for the video today, and hope it gave you some ideas on which 5-star units you may want to start saving up those orbs for. Of course, none of these units we talked about need IVs or merges at all, so they are all definitely worth going for, and that's going to wrap us up for today. So as always, this is your boy Tacho signing out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys again in the next one.